What if I told you that Black Clover will not end with Asta becoming the Wizard King, but instead, the one who claims that official title is none other than his rival, Yuno. And this is not because Asta will fail, but instead it's because Black Clover's real ending isn't Asta winning some crown, it's Asta proving that the crown was never the point. And let me be clear, this is not me saying that Asta isn't worthy, this is me saying that Black Clover's biggest message is deeper than some job promotion. Asta's dream is to become the Wizard King, but his mission is equality. He wants a world where someone like him, someone born with nothing, can stand at the top without being treated as less than human. So, my argument is this. Yuno will likely become the Wizard King because he fits the role that the kingdom needs, and Asta will become something even bigger, the person who makes the role less important than the values behind it. Now from chapter 1 onward, Asta's dream is crystal clear. He wants to be the Wizard King, but the reason behind it is what matters. Asta doesn't want a crown. He wants a world where people like him aren't treated as worthless, and that's the twist. If the story ends with Asta simply getting that job, that alone doesn't fix any system, because titles don't change people's hearts. Asta will change their hearts. Now, the Wizard King is supposed to be a symbol that unites the kingdom, but Asta's entire character is proving something bigger. That symbol doesn't have to come from status, it can come from action. And that's when Lucius enters. He pretty much exposes what Asta truly is to the story. He calls him a flaw. Not just a nuisance, not just an enemy, a flaw. The variable that breaks the correct future. And think about what that means narratively. Lucius wants a world that runs out of prediction, destiny, and control, and Asta is the anti-destiny character. Not only because anti-magic counters magic, but because Asta makes people defy who they were supposed to be. Now that ties directly into the ending. If Asta's role is to be the unpredictable flaw that breaks the system, the conclusion that fits him most is not him becoming some system, it's him forcing the system to change. Now let's talk about Yuno. Because if Black Clover ends with Yuno as the Wizard King, this actually makes perfect thematic sense. Now, Yuno is built to look like the Clover's ideal leader. He has talent, composure, leadership, and he's the kind of presence that people will naturally follow. But here's the important part. When I say the institution will accept him, I don't mean it will accept him easily. I mean that Yuno is the kind of person that the institution can recognize as legitimate once the world shifts. And that shifts, the pressure that forces the Clover to evolve, it will come from Asta. Now, people talk about Yuno like he's some gifted or chosen one, and yes, he does have insane natural talent, he's royal-blooded, he was chosen by the Four-Leaf Clover Grimoire and by the Wind Spirit, but he didn't grow up with all of this. He grew up the same way Asta did, an orphan from a poor village. And in the Clover Kingdom, that's not some small detail, that's the entire point. Nobles don't doubt you because you're weak, they doubt you because you're not supposed to be important. So, when Yuno enters the Golden Dawn, the squad with the elite reputation, it isn't just talent. It's Yuno forcing a system that worships bloodline to respect him, while the system that he believes has no bloodline worth respecting. And that's why Yuno isn't just a chosen one. He's proof that even perfect talent still gets questioned even when it comes from the wrong place. And that's when the story hits you with some irony. Yuno was always royalty, but nobody knew. And that matters for the Wizard King argument because it creates the perfect bridge. Yuno understands what it's like to be treated as nobody, and he holds a legit card that the kingdom can't ignore. So, if Clover needs an official symbol it can unite behind, Yuno fits. But because he lived as a nobody first, he can wear that crown without becoming that crown. Now, I can already hear all the counter arguments. Bro, it's a shonen, Asta has been screaming I'll become the Wizard King since day one, the story is his dream, the ending has to be Asta getting that dream. And honestly, on the surface, that's pretty fair. Shonen stories love paying off the exact goal the main character repeats. But Black Clover has never been about rewarding that right image. It's about destroying the idea that worth comes from the status. And if that's the message, then Black Clover's ending isn't Asta winning that job interview. It's Asta changing what the job represents. Because the deeper victory isn't Asta sitting on some throne. The deeper victory is the throne losing its power to define who matters. So if Yuno becomes Wizard King, it won't betray Asta's dream, it'll be proof that the dream worked. Asta's entire existence forces the world to evolve, and Yuno becomes the leader of the evolved world. Not because Yuno was always accepted, but because Asta made it impossible for the kingdom to keep pretending that peasants don't matter. And here's the poetic part. Asta and Yuno don't grow in isolation. Their rivalry is an engine. So, if Yuno becomes Wizard King and his growth is tied to Asta, that doesn't change Yuno. It completes the theme. Asta doesn't have to hold the title to create the world's greatest leader. Asta's real Wizard King achievement would be creating a world where someone like him could become the Wizard King, even if he personally doesn't. So, the final message. Yuno becomes the Wizard King, the kingdom's official symbol, the accepted leader, the one who could command the institution, and Asta becomes something else. He becomes the man who made the title less important than justice. So, no. I don't think Black Clover ends with Asta becoming the Wizard King. I think it ends with something bigger. Asta becomes the reason the Wizard King title stopped being the only way to change the world. And so, Asta doesn't become the Wizard King, instead, he becomes the future.